In this lesson, I'll tell you about visualizing solids with the help of section planes. So right now here we have this 3D geometry, and in order to see a cutaway part of this geometry, we can use section planes. For using section plane, go to this section panel and click on this section plane button. Now select the plane on which you want to create your section. But before doing that, make sure that this object snap is turned off. Now once it is turned off, go to the plane on which you want to create your section plane. So let's say that I want to create it here, and once I click on that plane, the section plane is added. Now in order to see the cutaway view of this geometry, select the section plane, and now using these gizmo arrows, move it inside the geometry. So let's select this x-axis and move it inside, and click here and press escape key. And now you'll be able to see the cutaway part of this geometry. Now in a similar way, you can create section plane on any other plane of this geometry. For that, we need to first erase this one to make it more clear. And now let's go to this section plane again, and this time click on this top plane, and the section plane will be added. Now select this plane, and again using this gizmo, move it inside the geometry, and you'll be able to see the section view of this geometry. Let's press escape to see it more clearly. Now you can not only change the position of this section plane, you can also change the type of section plane. So right now select the section plane, and you'll notice that we have a plane here. If you want to change it into a volume, then click on this small down pointing arrow grip, and from this menu select other options. So I'll select volume for now, and now a volume will appear here, and you'll be able to see all the part which is inside this volume, and you can change this volume to visualize the geometry more clearly. So let's say that we want to see more of this, so let's expand it here, and our geometry will be more visible towards this side. If you want to more on the top side, then click here, and here we have it. Now let's say that from this side we want to decrease it, so using this grip I'll decrease it here, I'll decrease it further, and the change will be visible here. So in this way we can visualize our solids more clearly using volume or plane or other type of section geometries. We can also change the part of 3D solid which is visible. So right now everything which is inside this volume is visible. If you want to turn it towards other side, then click on this arrow grip, and everything which is outside the volume will only be visible. Let's click on this again to get back to original one, and click on this down pointing grip and select plane, and here we have it. So once you select the plane, it will return back to the original type of section plane which we had earlier. Now let's move this plane a little bit downward, and in this case also, if you want to change the side on which we are seeing the 3D volume, then click on this arrow and it will change the side. Click on this arrow again to change the side of our sectioning. So I need to orbit the geometry, and now let's click here and let's orbit it back to the top face. Now if you want to visualize the solid with the section geometry as well as the geometry which is present on the screen, then we can turn on both the geometries. For that, right click and select show cutaway geometry. So this will show the geometry which was initially removed. So the geometry is visible in this red color, and if you move the section plane, then a live sectioning will be visible in this way. So using this, you can visualize both the solids even more clearly. You can also add a jog line to this sectioning plane to make a more complex type of sectioning plane. For that, let's select this contextual menu by clicking right click, and now select add jog to section. And now on this sectioning plane, specify a point where you want to add the jog line. For that, turn on this object snap and move at a point, and now click at a point where you want to add it. So now here we want to add it, and you'll notice that the sectioning plane has changed its shape. So let's orbit this geometry, and here is the changed shape of sectioning plane. It is not the final shape. You can again change its shape using these grips. So let's say that we want to change it from here, and also we want to change its shape using the grip. I may need to change my orientation to see it more clearly. And now let's turn off this cutaway geometry, and from here we will change the grip, and you'll be able to see it more clearly now. So So in this way, you can visualize your solid by using live sectioning, cutaway geometry, and by adding jogs. Sometimes you just only want to keep your sectioning plane and you also want to retain the geometries. So in this case, by adding sectioning plane, you're removing the geometry on the top of this 3D object. But if you want to retain that object as well, along with this sectioning plane, then you can turn off live sectioning. So here we have this live sectioning turned on. Directly click on this live sectioning, and even in the presence of this sectioning plane, the complete object will be visible. You can turn off or on this live sectioning from contextual menu as well. So right click and select this activate live sectioning, or click on it again to deactivate it. So this was all about visualizing our solid with the help of this sectioning plane. In the next lesson, I'll tell you about creating 2D objects using this section plane.